feed us. Lord is good. And all the time. So we know the popular story of the conversion of St. Paul. And whenever we hear this story, it is very easy to ignore a particular individual. That individual is pivotal to that story. That individual is somebody that ties the entire story together. And it is a man called Ananias. Ananias was not known. Ananias was not introduced. The church did not know Ananias. Nobody knew his name. But even though he was not known on earth, heaven already knew Ananias. Even though nobody knew his name here, God knew his name. There was a need. God needed somebody to go and open the eyes of Paul. God needed somebody to introduce Paul to the church on earth. And he went to Ananias. And I think that says something about the man Ananias. It means that he was already considered by heaven to be a reliable person. Heaven already considered him to be a dependent person. God already knew that Ananias would do his bidding. If you listen to Ananias very carefully and the relationship that he had with God, the back and forth that he had with God, you would see that he was somebody who had already developed an interior life. Already, Ananias knew how to talk to God. And so when God said, Ananias, he was not surprised. Compare him to Paul on the road to Damascus. When God said, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Paul said, who are you, please? Who is talking? He had not heard that voice before. He had not cultivated an interior life. He had not had conversations with God before. And so he did not know who was talking to him. But not Ananias. God said to Ananias, go, there is a man by the gate. And Ananias said, this God is like, you don't like me. You have heard that this man is coming from Jerusalem to capture Christians and kill them. And yet you are sending me to him. Me, who has been faithful to you. It's like you don't like me. He was having a proper conversation with God. And God said to Ananias, go, that man is very important for the kingdom of God. He will take the gospel to everywhere, where all the other apostles, all the other disciples are not. What that means is that Ananias had what you call attentiveness. If you were at mass yesterday, you would have seen something that Philip had. Philip had attentiveness to the voice of God. God said, go, leave this place and go, and he went. So one important point this morning is this, is that God has people everywhere. God has a network of people who are obedient to him, who listen to his voice, who are attentive in the spirit, who are dependable, who are reliable everywhere. Ananias was such a man. Are you such a person? You see, the mother of Moses carried Moses. She was crying because she could no longer hide the child in the house. She was crying and carrying the child to the river to put the child there. But while she was crying, she would have been praying to God, God, this only child that you have given to me. As she was saying that prayer, God was activating somebody elsewhere. He was talking to the daughter of Pharaoh. As she was praying and crying to drop her child in the river, God was talking to somebody somewhere else. God has people everywhere. And I know that morning, when Pharaoh's daughter woke up, she would have said, I usually take my bath in the afternoon, but today I feel like taking my bath in the morning. Something is telling me to go and take my bath this morning. I should say, no, I'll go in the afternoon. Some people say, no, go in the morning. She will say, no, I'll go in the afternoon. Say, no, go in the morning. And then she listens to that voice and she goes. And because she goes, Moses stayed. And because Moses stayed, the children of Israel had to leave out from Egypt. It is like that little boy who was in that crowd when Jesus fed 5,000. The crowd will be hungry on that day. God has people everywhere. He activated that small boy. Does it not wonder you that, does it not surprise you that does it not surprise you that a small boy was leaving the house and he carried 5 loaves? Only 5 loaves. I'm not saying 5 slices of bread alone. 5 loaves. Maybe he said to himself, okay, let me take 1, and then I'll take 4 for my other friends. Or let me take 1, let me eat 2 and reserve 3. But somehow, he took 5 loaves and took 2 fish. So that when the crowd was hungry, God had somebody already positioned. What is my point? My point is that I will touch the person. Can God beat his chest and say that you will be obedient if there is a need to be met? Can he say that in this area, among the people I have in this area, this man, this woman will do everything? Because when you respond in obedience, God is moving somebody somewhere else who will equally respond so that his will will be done eventually. So, cultivate an interior life. Cultivate attentiveness to the Spirit. So that when you hear his word, you know that, yes, you might not understand the entire picture, but know that you might be feeding 5,000 people on that day. Or you might be bringing somebody as important as Paul into the church to do such great work. I pray that the blessed word will last this morning. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.